can sock all day and bop all night. Soccer boppers, soccer boppers, more fun than a pillow fight. Blow 'em up, put your hand inside, get ready to have the time of your life. Soccer boppers, soccer boppers, sock 'em once and bop 'em twice. Soccer boppers, soccer boppers,
Soccer Boppers, more fun than the pillow fight by Big Time Toys.
Soccer boppers.
Work it. Step it up, cause it's time to party. Yeah!
Wouldn't trade it for the world.
Okay, now I've already explained the rules in the dressing room. I expect a tough, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Any questions from the blue corner?
No.
Any questions from the red corner?
Yes. Are there any timeouts in case one of us has to use the ladies' room?
Don't you mean the men's room?
Speak for yourself, you silicone-injected slut.
Go to hell, you testosterone-tainted tramp!
Jules, what you call me?
You want a piece of me? Let's go right now!
Okay, now wait a minute. The fighters, you wait for my signal. There are no timeouts in this exhibition. Now let's get it on!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loud WrestleMania. Today, we'll be taking a look at a Loud House episode that happens to be centered around wrestling. And we proudly introduce you to Can't Win 'Em All, the 25th episode from Season 7, the 320th episode. And things are about to get down and dirty tonight. And we're also going to see who's going to be the best Loud House critic of this review. The band have spoken, they wanted this episode to be reviewed, and they wanted their favorite Loud House critic reviewers from YouTube to review this episode. Let's go down and meet our contestants. In the red corner, he's been a YouTuber since 2011, and he started his own show in 2018. He's been reviewing Loud House episodes for nearly 6 years now, and he brings happiness to the community where he lives at. The Loud House Critic. In the blue corner, he's been a YouTuber since 2008, and he currently reviews Loud House episodes, and he has reviewed Loud House episodes for nearly 4 years. He's a big fan of Sam and Luna shipping, and he enjoys rock music and wrestling himself. STEAMTEAMDUBREUK. Let's go down and meet our referee, Mills Lane.
All right, I want a good, clean fight. I want a comfortable pair of shoes, and I want a nice ham sandwich. Not too fatty. You got that?
Can't land them all. I cannot believe I'm actually reviewing this Loud House episode. I will say right now, this is possibly one of my favorite episodes from Lynn in this season. Because there's so much more I want to add into this character, especially when she's in a wrestling match ring. Almost like every other Lynn episode, I thought this episode was going to be bad, but obviously I got proven wrong about it. Especially after when I watched Sponsor Tripped. So the possibilities were, I knew this was actually going to be a good Lynn episode. And I'm actually doing this with STEAMTEAMDUBREUK in this review.
Greetings everyone, this is STEAMTEAMDUBREUK, CC Trainer Ling, and I'm really excited to be teaming up with the Loud House Critic to review this particular Loud House episode. Can't Win 'Em All, an episode I was waiting a long time to see, and I can say with confidence it was a blast from start to finish. As a longtime wrestling fan, this episode evoked many reactions from me, for good and not so good reasons. And I'll do my best to explain my likes and dislikes of how this episode handled the sport of wrestling without being too much of a nerd about it. So without any further ado, I have one question. Mr. Critic, are you ready? Everyone watching this video, are you ready? If so, let's get right into it.
Let's get it on!
The Meat Mountain and the Hungry Herbivore are locked in a tight match.
Meat Mountain and Hungry Herbivore? Weird names for wrestlers. If you ask me, I think I prefer my favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or one of my personal favorites, The Undertaker.
Ringside. You can almost taste the sweat.
And I'm gonna go get new nachos.
Nacho?
Not after when I just got my ass kicked, no thank you. Taste sweat, ooh. I tasted myself before and I'm too salty.
Oh yeah? Well, which one of you wants to come up here and take out the champ? Who wants a piece of meat?
Hey, man!
I'll tell you who.
This guy!
You?
No.
Oh, an arena full of chickens, huh?
No one calls me a chicken, you turkey.
Oh, I could definitely see her as the next Peter Pan in line, or Peter Lynn.
You wouldn't dare fight old Hook man to man. You'd fly away like a cowardly sparrow.
Nobody calls Lynn a coward and lives.
I'll fight you man to man, with one hand behind my back.
Hey kid, I don't want you to get hurt. Why don't you scram?
Now cover your eyes, little guy. You shouldn't have watched such gratuitous violence.
Meat Mountain? More like a meat loaf, chump.
You know, I get how Lynn is super passionate about wrestling and feels like she was personally attacked by this one wrestler, but since when can fans jump into the ring and try to go after these guys? Like, where's security to stop this from happening? Better yet, where's the referee in all this? But hey, I gotta give props to Lynn for beating the crap out of this dude. She don't take crap from no one.
As being a person who likes to question logic in cartoon territory, somehow I won't even touch this subject as bad as I want to touch on this subject.
This ought to be good, eh?
How in the flying fuck does a bear cub actually take a moose out like that?
Hey kid, wait up! I'm dying to ask, how in the world did you ever pick up the mountain?
And why does a woman like you have such a big-ass bushy monobrow? It's about as creepy as some of those who don't even have eyebrows when they have to frickin' paint them over. Who's stupid enough to shave off their own eyebrows?
Ha! The 3 C's of powerlifting, baby. Confidence, calves, and quads.
Quad starts with the... Whoa! Whatever you want it to start with.
Fun wrestling fact, Lynn's 3 C's of powerlifting is a reference to former world heavyweight champion Kurt Angle and the 3 I's. Intensity, integrity, and intelligence. Clearly Jeff Sayers had knowledge of wrestling trivia when he wrote this episode.
I'm Bella Big Bucks, the top promoter for Motor City Wrestling.
Lynn Loud.
Bella Big Bucks, kind of a weird-ass name. Almost being close as weird as having Principal Rivers or Cricket.
Look, we both know pro wrestling is staged, but your athleticism and strength would be big-time assets in my ring.
You know, that was something I never knew about when I was a kid, when I used to be watching wrestling. Everything is just stage in wrestling. Because when I found out about this, it kind of pissed me off. Because everything I thought was so real on stage. It's kind of lame how you have to have someone else win and you have to lose. Totally unfair. I actually want a good, clean, even fight.
It's not staged, it's real, goddammit!
Language!
Nah, I'm just kidding. Bella is technically right about that. Wrestling matches usually have a predetermined outcome, and the wrestlers know in advance who's going to win and lose. I'll give the episode credit for being honest about that part of the sport.
How would you like to be my next star wrestler?
For real? That would be amazing!
Great! Let's talk about your character. Who does Lynn Loud want to be in the ring?
Somehow I think I've seen deja vu with this episode plotline before. In another Loud House episode, they had Lola Loud in it. Only Lynn's opera came so much earlier in the episode. And now we actually come to the Loud House.
Let's see what we've got to work with. Okay, a lot of smells, but not a lot of variety.
Shit, girl, you gotta keep wearing the same damn outfit every day just like Lincoln does?
Oh yeah, Lincoln, you're definitely one to talk about someone wearing the same shirt every day. Remember back in the Season 5 episode Schooled where your closet had multiple orange polos? Hell, even Lola called you out on wearing the same shirt every day back in Predictability. Just wait until someone questions your choice in wardrobe and then see how you feel.
Don't you guys have any other clothes in your actual closet or drawers that you can actually wear besides wearing the same damn thing? Kinda almost seems like a low-budget family being cheap.
Couldn't help but overhear you talking fashion. Cause I can help.
No offense, Lenny, but we're not putting together prom outfits. This is wrestling.
I'm not gonna fucking question why Lenny was actually in there. Freaking stalk much, or are you just watching somebody finger themselves? Which I hope fucking not.
I love wrestling. Did you guys watch that Rage in a Cage tag team match last week where one of the Python boys turned on his own partner by putting him in a cold-blooded clutch?
I have to say, out of all the Loud siblings to be a fan of wrestling besides Lynn and Lincoln, I never expected Lenny to show an interest in it whatsoever. In my opinion, Lana would have been more suited for Lenny's role since Lana loves gator wrestling and even mud wrestling. But you know what? I'm fine with Lenny being a wrestling fan because it once again adds another layer to her character.
I just get so into the storylines. It's like a big sweaty soap opera.
No thanks, I would prefer this kind of opera.
No, please, I'm not that kind of...
Then again, maybe this kind of lame opera.
Ave Maria.
And by the way, her comment about wrestling being a big, sweaty soap opera, well, she's not wrong. That's exactly what it is. It's sometimes called a soap opera for men, so once again, I give the show credit for being honest.
What do you think?
Too spiky. Not gonna happen.
Oh my gosh, that's so adorable of her being in pink and wearing all that princess makeup on her look. You could be playing the fairy godmother in Cinderella. And thinking about this reminds me of a scene from The Page Master. Check it out.
Are you sure that swizzle stick of yours is working right?
I don't know. Maybe we should test it.
They even have their own obnoxiously fat, profanity-laced Tinkerbell.
No way. Who wears this?
Ah, see, Lincoln? You feel bad now for saying Lynn has no variety because she wears the same clothes all the time? Yeah, don't feel so good now, does it?
Look, guys, this isn't working. None of these feel, I don't know, authentic.
Maybe we need to dig a little deeper.
You gotta dig a little deeper. Find out who you are.
You've met Lynn Loud, Hall Monitor. Now meet the Brawl Monitor.
With that familiar pose, it looks like Lynn is doing a tribute to Rob Van Dam. But now with her new in-ring character all set, it's time for her to become the whole fucking show.
If anybody wanted to go out for wrestling, what would your wrestling name be?
The Brawl Monitor! It's hip, it's fresh, I love it! Okay, kid, Now, I see the Brawl Monitor as a hero type, so I'm gonna put you up against a bunch of baddies. You'll whoop them good, and the fans will love it.
Sensing a forward shadow in that kind of quote, her being a good guy and going up against a bunch of bad guys, why does that sound like something is actually going to go the wrong way? When she said it like that, it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
All right, now ladies, you are both very beautiful, very talented, and very sexy. Now I want a dirty, nasty, filthy fight. And if either of you gets a cramp, I'll be happy to massage it out for you. All right, now let's get it on. Literally, if possible.
One hall pass to Loserville.
Mangled up in, tangled up and it looks like Creeps the Clown won't be haunting anyone's dreams tonight.
This is something I totally did not see coming, because when they were trying to find the right kind of outfit for Lynn for wrestling, she was dressed as a clown, and yet she went against a clown. And there actually is a clown as a wrestler. Doink the Clown.
Doink the Clown!
Looks like the cat burglar's about to use up her nightlife. Meow.
That's one hall pass to
Loserville.
Well, she had 9 lives. She just spent them all.
Woo!
God damn, not only can Lynn beat the hell out of women and men much older than her, but just look at that strength when throwing these people around. I know I mentioned her strength earlier in this review, but wow, talk about giving 110% in squash matches. Not a huge fan of her character's catchphrase, but what she lacks in promos, she makes up for in athletic ability.
Normally I'm the kind of person who's not a huge expert on wrestling, but somehow I'm amused when I watch it. Especially when I watch one of my favorite MTV wrestling shows.
There you go. There you go.
Good news, kid! I've lined up your next match, and it's big. You're gonna tangle with one of our top wrestlers, Tippy the Cow!
Really? Well, I've seen worse.
Are you dead serious? There's no way a heifer like this can actually be a wrestler. I was wondering who the hell is behind that mask. Though there have been a couple of forged shadows in the show about who Tippy the Cow might really be. I can't say who it is because that would be ruining the surprise for everybody. And I don't want to reveal too much too soon.
Somewhere, Dwayne Johnson is seeing this and taking some serious offense to a cow being referred to as the People's Champion. And unfortunately, Lynn is going to be forced to smell what Tippy the Cow is cooking. Or will she?
I'm gonna smoke that bag of brisket.
No, you're not. Brawl Monitor beats up on bad guys, but Tippy is a fan favorite. You gotta let her win.
But...
No buts! If you're gonna be a star in this sport, you gotta learn to play the game.
Fine, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna like it.
I don't like where this is actually going to be going, because obviously there have been wrestlers that actually took a wrong turn. And they were never the same afterward.
Melissa, Alyssa, now I don't want no fake David Copperfield crap. I want some real old-fashioned witchcraft. Now let's... What the hell is this dress? Maroon ain't even my color. That's more like it. Okay, now let's get it on.
She's usually the face of Dairyland, but tonight, Tippy is the face of utter pain. Ooh, and it looks like somebody better call an ambulance for the Brawl Monitor.
Time to retire, Michael. You're getting too old. We'll see about that.
Jordan takes to the sky. A tremendous move by Air Jordan.
That seems a bit vague, like how the tail is able to move when there's no mechanisms actually in the tail of this costume. And the CGI tail on Tigger was so fucking ridiculous to look at.
And it looks like Tippy is really milking this victory. That's it.
No, breathe. Find your happy place.
Danny Jackson is back!
your girl here having us a real hoedown.
I can't believe I'm saying this, folks, but the Brawl Monitor wins!
I don't like where this is going, especially when I didn't like how Meryl Streep actually beat Cameron Diaz.
Death becomes you, bimbo!
Nick, this is wrong. So very wrong. Meryl can't win. Cameron's the one the MTV kids want to see.
Alright, this match confused me. If Tippy is a fan favorite, or babyface character, if you will, why was she acting like a heel and making Lynn look stupid and weak? I actually can see why Lynn decided to go off script and change the ending to the match because she was being humiliated and she's supposed to be a fan favorite as well. However, she undoubtedly turned heel in the process when the crowd started booing her because she beat up a bigger babyface. Looks like her career is over. Or is it?
Okay, look. I know I beefed it and lost my cool, but Tippy was...
Never mind that. Did you see what happened out there?
I saw a lot of angry people giving me not-so-nice gestures.
Yeah, those people act like the average YouTube commenters, especially the cyber trolls, which I highly know that they turn out to be immature teenagers and kids.
I saw opportunity. In this business, a good villain can be just as big as a hero.
I'm not too sure about that. Then again, I wouldn't get my hopes up too soon about Megan in Megan 2.0. Again, I don't see her as a villain. But the way she puts it that way, it kind of reminds me of the babysitter, how she was a villain in the first one, but in the sequels, she turned out to be a good guy.
New plan. I'm gonna have you beat every good guy, gal, and goody two-shoes in my stable. We'll turn you into the ultimate wrestling heel.
I don't like the sound of that. That sounds like they're gonna make her a bigger villain. That sounds so bad as someone eliminating all the good guys so that way he could pretend to be a good guy. Yeah, that sounds more like a villain to me. Then again, if you look at the motivation with Suzanne from, or Killmonger from the Black Panther, they're quite understandable and you kind of feel sorry for these characters. Or even more depressing, Daniel Rubertil, aka Candyman.
And the Brawl Monitor bullies the Widow Baby into submission with a tickle tornado!
Before this montage continues, I'd like to point out yet another possible Kurt Angle reference Lynn is making with the milk bottle. Kurt Angle and his love for milk was a very common thing in his career, so I think that's what the episode was paying homage to. I could be wrong, but either way, let's get back to heel Lynn going after more insane pro wrestling character gimmicks.
Looks like the ice cream man won't be scooping out any joy today.
For me, I'm not even so sure if there's a wrestler called the Ice Cream Man, but I know there's a villain called the Ice Cream Man in a horror movie. Oh, believe it or not, that movie does exist.
And it looks like the Brawl Monitor is sending sweet old Granny to the retirement home.
In my defense, that should have been Scoot on the stage. That would have been very satisfying for me.
She don't smell too good. There he is.
Yeesh, this is kind of intense. Are you okay?
This is just part of the game.
Yeah, too much intense, but what can I say? Haters is gonna hate. Can't even please everybody.
Gotta get my dick sucked. And I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to, but I'm not him, Mike Slim, so watch what you do.
And besides, I sold out the arena tonight. I mean, I don't want to brag, but the Brawl Monitor is huge. Plus, sometimes they get free grub.
You're the worst!
Even if someone says I'm the worst, which clearly that's not true. This person has no idea who I really am.
Survey says,
fuck you. Hey, Flip, let me get a double XL Flippy.
That'll be 50 big ones.
$50 for a Flippy? Since when?
Hey, it's a new bully tax, just for you. Brawl Monitor.
You were doing the exact same bullshit with the Loud, so isn't this the pot calling the cattle black? Then again, a blue whale calling a sperm whale racist.
The devil of the deep. The white whale. Moby Dick.
A little help here, Meryl?
For the Brawl Monitor? No way!
When is there ever going to be mature teachers and staffs for this school? I mean, quite literally, we need them. And that was a little too much for Meryl to even do. I think it's safe for me to say I just don't like her character here in this episode.
I'm sorry, but Lynn does not deserve to be treated like that. I get how wrestling fans are supposed to love the baby faces and hate the heels, and I get how sometimes wrestlers like to keep playing their characters out in public so they can maintain the art of kayfabe, but there's a fine line between what's scripted and what's real. Flip and all these other people are treating Lynn as if she's still portraying her Brawl Monitor character in the ring, when clearly she's not. Would they treat her fans in a similar way if they started dressing like her Brawl Monitor character? These people must really think everything and everyone in pro wrestling is real, and that's kinda bad when you think about it.
Exciting, isn't it? Your match is gonna be televised everywhere. Even people in Canada are gonna hate you, and they love everyone.
Wow, so many Canadians can hate Americans, but most Americans are much smarter than they are. But at least they were smart enough to be on the same level as we were hating Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. I'll give them that.
Yeah, so I'm not so sure I want to be the villain anymore. I thought people loved to hate me, but now I think they just hate me.
You know, when Lynn actually says it kind of reminds me of this Disney character.
I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
That's a small price to pay for stardom, kid, wouldn't you say? This is what you wanted.
'Cause I can honestly see Lynn being like Wreck-It Ralph. And with this likely being said, especially from the fandom and other people on YouTube that said that they gotta like to hate Lynn, but honestly, I really just don't hate Lynn. I hate the choices that she makes, but I just don't hate her as a character. I'll get more into this subject. Right now, let's get on with the last fight.
Tonight, the Brawl Monitor squares off against the one, the only...
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of playtime!
Let's try that again!
The Brawl Monitor squares off against the one, the only Santa Claus!
You've got to be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm with Lynn on this one. You got to be kidding me. All the other wrestling gimmicks in this episode were either generic, campy, or just plain weird, but now we have a guy pretending to be Santa Claus? Just, really? I'm not pissed off about it or anything, it's just so strange seeing a holly jolly Christmas icon being used in pro wrestling. Then again, it could be worse. Lynn could have faced off against the gobbledygooker, and you can't get any more ridiculous than that.
I know I'm going to go beyond question logic about this, but honestly, I don't think Santa would even be a wrestler. Then again, this might be that badass Santa Claus Bill Goldberg.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
Oh, Grandpa got run over by a reindeer. Why, I'm just trying to spread a little Yuletide fear.
I have to throw this match.
Ho, ho, ho!
Belly bump, on guard, your sword in my bread. Sashimi split splinker monkey. Wear that Victoria's Secret proudly.
Put me in a chicken wing.
Ho, ho, no! Stick to the script. You're supposed to win.
For once, could you actually just talk like you're an actual real human being and stop using the word ho 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 in every sentence? It sounds like a thing that you get after you're done having cookies and milk. Or should I say cookies and MILF? I just found me a tall drink of milk.
But I don't want to win!
That's not very holly jolly of you. Stop it!
That scream was so funny. I could just see her as a female version of Jim Carrey.
Stop it!
You sissy!
Stop it! Stop it!
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
We gotta continue the celebration! Oh, another hard right.
Won't let you throw this match!
Wow! It looks like Santa might be delirious from too much milk and cookies, because he just missed the Brawl Monitor by a mile!
This match confirms my belief about the wrestling company in this episode. They are an anything goes kind of promotion. No countouts, no disqualifications, you can use all the weapons you want against your opponent, men can fight the women, and the referee can't do anything to stop it. Speaking of whom, where the hell has that damn referee been this whole time? They haven't shown up at all, and they're just as integral to a match as the wrestlers. I guess that explains why every match ends the way it does. Just beat the crap out of your opponent until they can't move.
But as things get difficult during this fight, just because Lynn wants to win and Santa wants to lose, Santa and Lynn are actually kicking their own asses.
Santa has pinned the Brawl Monitor! The winner is Santa Claus!
Oh, hey, look at that. The episode's first actual pinfall ending to a match. No referee to perform a 3 count, but at this point, I'll take it.
Hey, what was that all about? Next time you pull a stunt like that...
There is no next time. I'm out. I'm done being hated, and I'm done wearing this stupid singlet. It's Chafe City.
Yeah, right. And using an elf costume wasn't chafing on you good enough? Then again, that wouldn't be too damn surprised if she actually was wearing an elf costume up there going against Santa Claus.
You'll come crawling back!
Ding ding, school's in, bitch!
So Lynn took off her wrestling gear out in the open for anyone to see. Does that mean she left the arena? You know what? I'm just going to stop myself there.
She could be growing up and being a part of a club of the naturalists. Then again, she might get arrested out there for decent exposure. Oh my gosh, if anybody has the balls or tits of steel to just walk out there naked in public and not feel embarrassed by it, that is a true champion human being. Can't win 'em all, what can I say? Now, this was a very interesting episode in my eyes because obviously this is the first time I ever seen Lynn in a wrestling ring against other wrestlers that have made up names. And I do love how they handle the message, don't bite off more than you can chew. But it does feel a bit weird in the very beginning how Lynn actually comes into the ring and actually beats up the Meat Mountain as if there should be a law about that, about someone else wanting to challenge someone else. So when Lynn becomes the Brawl Monitor, she starts being the good guy and actually beating up someone's the bad guys. And things took a little turn after defeating Tippy the cow, which was weirdly ridiculous for someone like that from Dairyland to actually come here to be a wrestler. And she suddenly becomes the bad guy after being so much the good guys up and being hated by everybody else. I'm so grateful her family didn't actually turn against her for what she did. And in the end, she gets purposely defeated by Santa Claus, which again, I wouldn't mind if that was Bill Goldberg. I just love how stupidly Lynn is actually written in this episode. Because usually back then, we used to hate Lynn, and then suddenly we're starting to turn the tables on seeing her as a good character. And this episode is much a prime example of her character, of how she used to be. As I stated before, I don't hate Lynn, I just hate the choices that she makes. Especially in most cases like Sitting Bull, Schooled, No Bus, No Fuss, The Taunting Hour, Time Trap, Greenhouse, The Hurt Lockers, the list goes on of what the fandom and what people have been saying about this character. But on the plus side, she does have some good intentions, where she's nearly not on the same level as either Rusty or Chandler, especially with some episodes where she is well written, like with Singled Out, Good Sports, Cheer Presser, Sponsors Trip, even Cowpie Kid, where she does actually see something wrong, and she does make the right choice in the very end on her own. Even with her sports posse, rather this was intentional for the executive producers or writers to make us like to hate Lynn, I'm not sure. But whatever it is, she's starting to progress to being a good character in the show. In fact, I could argue and say that this episode did so much better than Scream Queen did. At least Lynn did not sign a contract. Even in part of this episode where Lynn actually took it on herself to actually being Tippy the cow when she was supposed to lose against the character. In fact, I could say that much her ego pride got the best of her. And there is kind of a related note to this about two wrestlers out there, especially based on their characters of who they're portraying or what their stage names are. I should know because I'm actually friends with one of the professional wrestlers, and he lives in the next town over where I live at in Michigan. I go more into the subject, but I gotta hand the mic over to Steam Team WK.
Full disclosure, my love for pro wrestling may have played a big factor in how I viewed this episode, and my final score may be a huge reflection of that, but honestly, I can't bring myself to hate this episode. I made my own review of this episode when it first came out, so what I'm going to say in this video is pretty much the same thing from my own video. Anyway, this is one of Lynn's best performances when it comes to the sport-loving side of her character, and this is the first time her love for wrestling was finally put in the spotlight after a few previous instances of her and Lincoln having some lucha libre moments. I really appreciated how the episode handled the sport of wrestling in some areas, like saying it's all scripted and winners and losers are predetermined before a match begins, and I really liked how they played with the idea of some wrestlers going into business for themselves and trying to change the ending to a match for whatever reason, just like what happened in Lynn vs. Tippy and Lynn vs. Santa. Speaking of wrestlers, even though the many gimmicks seen in this episode were very over the top, I can still appreciate the joke the episode was going for when it came to having exaggerated characters like an ice cream man and a guy in a broccoli suit. It was like a collective tribute to the wacky wrestling gimmicks from the 1980s. Now, the one thing my inner wrestling nerd didn't like was how inconsistent the wrestling rules were in the episode. There's no referee to end the match when a wrestler is pinned or submitted, not to mention how no one except Lynn is actually pinned in any match, so basically every fight is different except for one thing. It's just beat up your opponent until they're incapacitated and the match is over. I get how they were going for some kind of ECW style atmosphere, but even a hardcore wrestling promotion has a referee to say when a match begins and when a match ends. Speaking of endings, this episode ended very abruptly with no fallout to Lynn reflecting on her short-lived wrestling career. It just ends with her quitting and walking out. Kinda underwhelming if you ask me. But my biggest gripe with the episode was Flip, Meryl, and the middle school students verbally and physically attacking Lynn because of her Brawl Monitor character, even though she wasn't actually competing in the ring. They took their disdain for heel wrestlers way too far and completely ignored the fact Lynn and the Brawl Monitor are two completely different people. I understand what the episode was going for, but everyone's mean-spirited actions toward Lynn were not justified by any means. It's no wonder Lynn wanted to stop wrestling because she didn't deserve to be attacked by some pretty toxic fans. There's plenty more I would like to say about this episode, but I think I should wrap this up. Overall, this episode was great in how it presented and developed Lynn's character, and seeing her have a great time being either a face or a heel wrestler was very entertaining, especially during her match with Santa where both of them tried to throw the win to the other by beating themselves up. If you're a fan of pro wrestling, you'll have some strong opinions on this one, be they good or not good. Just try suspending your disbelief and you'll have a great time watching it. But even if you're not a wrestling fan, you'll still get some entertainment value out of this one. Thank you again for allowing me to be here, Mr. Critic. It's been a pleasure being your tag team partner for this episode, and here's to tagging again in the future. Well, everyone, that's going to do it for me. Whether I see you guys here or on my own channel, this is STEAMTEAMDUBREUK, CC Trainer Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.
This has been the Loud House Critic.
Who's next? Good fight, good night.
Sorry, Dads, but we already made plans to go to a new zombie-themed cafe, the Undead Diner.